massive big candle breaking through it, chopping around it, right? Could barely get above the monthly open. Think about the monthly candle, right? If you look at the monthly candle back in May of 2021, that's how the upper wick looked, right? That's all it could muster on the upside was that little wick, and then boom, way down it goes. It was also in a reversal, right, where you had an impulse into the highs, you had a massive reversal candle where you took out the highs, closed below them, and then that one produced the impulse lower. Now we have the opposite. We had our impulse candle. We did not take out the highs in April. If we had of, I'd be more concerned. So that's more likely to be a consolidation. It's an inside month. And now this is looking like a nice hammer candle so far. Now we're only 3 days into May. Far too early to say anything conclusively. But if it's going to move anyway, and this is all we can do as traders, if it's going to be bullish and reclaim and keep going higher, this is exactly how it should do it. So you can't complain when you're seeing strength like that. So in terms of the breakdown levels, and this is going to surprise some people, but you want to look at Saturday's open of the 13th of April. This is the war level, war dome. So Bitcoin has been weaker than many coins, right? So from the day of the day of the war fears, Saturday the 13th, dumped down, traded below it, retested it bearish, made a new low, and here we are. Like, Bitcoin's still trading below that level. So much for being a hedge against geopolitical conflict, right? It really doesn't look good in terms of that narrative. But Bitcoin has more to it than just that. You can't deny, though, it spent every single minute of every single day since that dump below the Saturday open, which is not true for altcoins, right? But I'll go through a few. Look at ETH. So ETH here, ETH has shown strength at that level. Now, not much. It's not exactly super strong. A few wicks above, one close above, but slightly stronger. Let me see. Solana, same thing. Saturday there, little touch above. So Bitcoin, ETH, Solana, not a huge amount of difference in them. Now let's look at some alts. So the Saturday for Say was here. Their Saturday's open. So within a few days it was back above it. Now it's back below it again. You want to look at, if you're looking at altcoins, you want to look at them in relation to these levels, to this level. That is like your pivot, in my opinion. And you can see it quite clearly. It's an SR level. There's resistance there. This whole structure held as support. It's resistance again. So even though Say looks like it could be doing a really nice FTR, right? Come into a low, failure to return, higher low, bottom, move up to there, and boom, away it goes. I wouldn't be bidding Say because there's just other coins that are stronger. It's very simple. Sui, super weak. Right, there's the 13th of April, Saturday open, weak. Now let's run through a few. As we see, Nvidia, that's a pretty nice reversal on Nvidia. That should set up a consolidation at the highs or a breakout. Just on a side note, which will help AI coins. So here you can see Render. Render is above that level, right? It is currently above that level, so a bit better than most. If the daily bands could cross green, it might see some sustained upside. Near, good example of real strength. There's the war level. These are the kind of coins that you want to be focusing on for longs. Look at what Near has done since the 13th of April. It spent time below it, bearish. It rallied back up, ahead of the market. And even on the last dump, it dumped down into the Saturday open of the day of the biggest nuke. Flipped it to support, bands are green, reclaim the bands. This is very, very strong. Near is one of the better charts at the moment. Now, it needs to make a new high to really have a chance of a bigger breakout, meaning it needs to come up, and then at that point you'd be looking at daily bands. Right? If it makes a new high from there, there's your low and a high and a higher low and a higher high. and then any touches of the daily bands on the way up will be your best trading opportunities. As good as it looks here, it's into resistance, and there isn't enough of a shift yet confirmed for me. Because what you got a low and you got a high. You got a higher low, but you don't have a higher high. What does that mean? Well, this means it's a higher low, so it's not an uptrend. You've got the first three parts of the uptrend, but if near-term China goes like that, then you've just been in consolidation all the time, and it's just a compression. So, and this is what we're talking about here is like from a trading perspective, not about holding near. If you want to trade it, well, where are you targeting? You're targeting the highs and a breakout. I don't think it's a good idea to buy up into what is currently resistance. Resistance, resistance, resistance. I don't think the resistance will hold, but you're on the earlier stage of the reaccumulation. So, Akash, again, really strong. Like there's Akash's exact same thing. The nuke level, the nuke day, dumped down, obviously had its up bit listing, retested it perfectly on the dump. So if it continues to consolidate at or around this level, that's going to build up a nice base for higher. A lot depends on BTC, which, by the way, like Bitcoin can definitely go lower and go to new lows. That's not out of the question at all. But it doesn't mean it has to go right away. Or at all, of course. So anything else that was strong? I know Pepe was. I'll look at some of the meme coins then. Pepe, Bonk, and Whiff. So Bonk. This, see that for difference? Right, the strength is undeniable. Pepe would be the same. So you have your volume distribution on Pepe. 13th April, strength, perfect retest, boom, away it goes. So, look, if Pepe is going to be trending to new highs, right, is it going to be a breakout? Or are these going to be the first ones to get to their highs and set up for the consolidation? I think it's the latter. I don't think Pepe will have much of a rally beyond this, and I actually don't think you really want to see Pepe make new highs, because I'm pretty sure at that point it's just an opportunistic trade, buy the fear and then just distribute over the highs, and then it'll reject, and then you're into just really messy, choppy chart. I think the best thing for Pepe would be to get towards the highs and then reject and come all the way back down and set up more of a consolidation and have a proper breakout later on. Because the more times that you have these kind of failed attempts, the more energy it's building for the eventual big run later in the year. But who knows? Right now, it's strong. Right now, it's strong. ETFs. So, yesterday we had a nice day. With Grayscale having inflows for the first time ever. After $17 billion of outflows, they've decided to buy 63 million. Or someone's decided to buy. So, honestly, given the fact that every ETF was green or zero, but that one doesn't count. It's that DeFi one, right? Oh no, it isn't. It's got the other BCW. Okay, that does. It is legit. Given that they all had inflows, it's notable that BlackRock is still very weak, right? Even 12 million. But I think a lot of this is just in relation to the outflows they had the previous time. Meaning, 36 million, 37 million of outflows on BlackRock a couple of days ago during panic, right? So this was dumped at 57k, right? Then there was a zero. Then there was 12 million. I think probably, because when you just compare this and look at the chart, I think probably it's just as simple as this. They panicked and sold the bottom on Wednesday. They were unsure on Thursday because it could go up or down. And then as it started to reclaim 60 and it rallied up, they just FOMO back in. and that's a pattern across them all, right? Massive dumping from Fidelity, 191 million, 102 back in, right? So I think probably that'd be my guess. There's obviously some new buying here for sure. There's definitely going to be some hedge funds or advisors or whatever who think that the reclaim of 60 is a good place to buy more. But I think the GBDC one, I think that is probably the most obviously someone buying back, because the consistent outflows from GBDC make sense because the fees are really high, and most people that were holding GBDC are not like big Bitcoin bulls. They were doing it for a trade. But I think somebody who was genuinely holding panicked and sold on Wednesday, and they've just bought back. And that's the only thing that really explains why they would buy back GBTC. Because why would they not buy back BlackRock? Like, there must be some tax implication. But anyway, that's where we're at. Market looks decent. Daily level's done. GM. See you later on the live stream. 4 p.m. UTC. GM.